So there's a parking deck under my building, and at the very front of the parking deck there is a prime located disabled parking space. Now, in the first year and a half that I lived in this building, I never used that space because, like I've said before, I prefer to leave disabled parking spaces open for people with serious mobility impairments. But one thing that I noticed about that space that was starting to make me angry is that the employees of the parking deck, that is the attendants who stand there and take your money like when you're leaving the parking deck, those guys used the disabled parking space as an employee space. I never saw a person with a disability use the space because there was always an employee parked in the disabled space. And as you can see, this made me very upset. Now, as it happened one day, I was driving out of the building with Ashley. I realized that I had forgot something in my apartment, so I went back down into the parking deck and I was trying to save time, so I used that disabled space, which on this particular day, there did not happen to be an employee using the space. So I pulled in, I put up my disabled placard, and then I got out of the car and started walking over to the elevator. And an employee of the parking deck runs over to me, he puts his hand up, and he's like, "Sir, I'm gonna need you to move your car because you cannot park there." And I was so angry about this that I spontaneously grew an incredibly scraggly looking molester mustache. "Hey kids, want some candy?" And I said to the guy, I was like, no, this is a disabled parking space. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. We reserve this space for employees. It's our employee space. And I was like, no, look, it says right here, disabled parking space. And see, I have a disabled placard. I can legally park here. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. You can't park here. I'm gonna need you to move your car. No, I gotta say, I'm not normally one for confrontations, but I was kind of upset, and there was no way I was moving my car when I was legally entitled to park there. And so I was like, listen, I'm not moving my car. It's staying right here. And then I walked away. And I'll be honest, 50% of the reason I did this was for disabled rights, and the other 50% I did it because my girlfriend was standing there and I wanted her to be really impressed by how tough I am. And it felt so good to stand up to him, to stand up for what is right, that I spontaneously grew an incredibly douchey chin strap beard. And I later wrote a complaint to the owners of my building and told them about what was going on in the parking lot. They met with the owners of the parking lot, and guess what? Now that space is open for people with disabilities. And furthermore, the parking lot owners created an employee space one level down. So now that those employees who were using the disabled space for all those years, now they have to walk down the stairs if they want to get to their designated employee parking space. And when I found out that I had stood up to that guy and I had asked for change and I had made the change, I had made a difference, it felt so good that I spontaneously grew a full beard of stubble. Thanks for watching, and we should hang out sometime in a disabled parking space, but not if you don't have a disability placard. AMPUTEE